And we are live on July 7th. Welcome, everybody, for the second ever episode, or maybe the first.
Really the first.
It's really the first, because the last one was a test. So,
you have a name.
Yeah, I know, right? Now we have a name. So welcome to the first real episode of the Rise Up Market Watch. A jingle, like the other shows, is on the way. The fantastic Keith is going to be putting together a ballad of majesty for us. Once again, he did have the first song. However, he did call the show Magic Market instead of Macro Market. And then I changed the name on him as he was editing it to Market Watch. So Keith is out here putting in the most work, honestly. But Doug, how you doing, man?
I've never had a jingle.
You've never had a jingle?
No.
Well, lovely. Maybe we can ask Keith to have a jingle for your own separate lives as well. And it'll be like a bathroom-esque song.
Have you seen that Family Guy where Peter has a band follow him? It's like It's like his own thing. I want that too. Just like something just to be there. But we'll start with this.
You know, maybe one day, Doug, when we meet in real life, I will have a full band set up, like a one-man band thing, and I'll just follow you around.
Nice. I like that.
We'll just have a red button that's just like a toilet flush or whenever it's needed.
Gotta dump the bathroom.
Dump it. Dude, how was your you can't dump the bathroom, man. It's part of it. It's part of it. But welcome, everybody. If you are unfamiliar with the show, because this is really only the first time we've done it, Doug and I, lovingly known in the Rise Up community as Van now, you can't hear Doug?
Oh
no, you can't hear Doug in the TikTok.
No, well, what are you gonna do?
Shame. Unmute Doug. Hang on a second. Doug, can you unmute on TikTok real quick? Let's just see if it creates an echo.
That may work.
Hey, can you guys hear Doug now? Let us know in the TikTok comment section. Check your green light on his board. Hang on a second. Oh, wait. Now you're green. Mute yourself one more time. And everyone in the chat, let me know if you can hear Doug.
Can you hear me?
All right, you're muted. Give us some ABCs, Doug.
Good. ABC 1, 2, 3.
Nope. Can't hear you at all now.
This is going great. She said yes.
Doug,
said yes.
So wait, we've lost your audio entirely now. Oh, wait. Now you can talk.
We're good?
We're good now. Yeah. Okay. Can anybody hear him on TikTok?
TikTok?
That's a no. All right. Unmute yourself on TikTok and
here we go.
We'll do it this way. It has never worked this way. All right. Well, we're here. And for the folks on YouTube and Twitter, apologies for the audio stuff, but here we are. Now we can hear. Cool. All right. Thanks, your mom.
I've seen it.
Dude, the internet's hilarious sometimes.
Every time.
But dude, how was your fourth?
It was actually fantastic, honestly. Probably one of the best fourth that I can remember. All things considered. Yeah, we did all the things. We went to all the places. We did the fireworks. We did a boat. Saw the family. Bounced around. Did a pool. Can't really ask for more. What about you?
I did all of those same things except the pool. There was a beach.
I didn't do the beach. So honestly, the beach is a good one too.
The actual day of the 4th of July was beach, followed by hot dogs, a steak, cheddar jalapeno burgers on the grill, made in the green egg too. And then there were some fireworks further down, but honestly, we were just bar hopping, just slamming dirty bananas, which was hilarious.
I have questions about the green eggs, but we'll do that another time.
Okay, we can do that another time. But we were also chatting beforehand, and I was like, I've been so busy today, I haven't had a chance to really look at too many charts. But I did have a few things that were kind of coming to mind. One was Bitcoin dominance. Another one is the stock market in general, the S&P 500. And then also Circle, which is the stock that I really kind of want. But I'm going to be patient on.
I want to talk about Circle. I have some major cope. They're not having any Circle. I'm like, yeah, don't buy at the IPO when it comes out.
Don't buy at the IPO. 10x later.
Learn the lesson there.
And we got to get that. We got to do the beef.
Wait, do we want to talk tariffs or no? I mean, I know we
We can
love
talk
tariffs.
tariffs now. We could start with tariffs for
I mean,
sure.
I feel like we should, only because I'm trying to gauge, and so if anyone has not seen, there has been a slew of letters. I would call them scanned letters. I don't know; they're not the actual, seem like the digital format, but it's a scanned version of it with individual letters to different countries. And it seems to me at a glance, it's not all the
What's the
countries. It seemed like
source?
10. Excuse me.
What's the source on these scanned letters?
The president himself.
Oh, so not real.
Touche.
Touche.
Oh no, yeah.
So what are these? What are these scanned letters?
They have different. It seems, and again, at a glance, I was working it. I was busy. I didn't catch all of these. I saw they were seemed to have a similar length, but they were different to the different leaders. It seemed there was probably about 8 initially when I saw last, at least the
Can we
list of
pull
the
one
tariffs
up?
that were there. And Japan was the first one that came out, and Japan was 25%. Now I don't know if that is 25% the aggregate or 25%
It's probably
Yeah.
just across the board. Because I mean, if we looked at what happened with Vietnam, it's 20% across the board, but 40% for transshipping. Which, for those of you who don't know what transshipping is, that is when you switch cargo in the middle of a route from like one country to another. And one thing that's interesting is that China's plan to get around the tariffs that we have been hitting them with, which were 125%, and now they're 50%,
55,
55% right there,
somewhere.
right? They were just routing their goods from China into Vietnam and out Vietnam. So now that's going to be somewhere between 20 to 40% of China trying to do that. And obviously all goods coming from China being hit with 55% or so. So that Vietnam trade deal is in line with Japan. But the latest sources I saw with Japan was that the trade agreement between Japan and the United States is still like very far away because the US wants them to drop all tariffs on US rice, which Japan will never do because it would crater their biggest agriculture product and market, which is rice.
I didn't know that, by the way, till recently. That's like, I'm also throughout all this, I want to call it chaos, whatever it may be, just a lot of changes, learning a lot. So there's some silver lining there in general.
Yeah. But if those letters, any other little goodies, any other little bits of information?
I didn't see. The only one I caught too was Thailand was 36%. So it seems like to me, just at a glance, that's almost back to the levels of where. And by the way, these are all August 1st. So it seems like everything's being pushed onto, what is that? I don't know, 21 days, 22 days to August 1st in general. And it seems like there may be some variations of maybe the 10%. But as of right now, it looks like these numbers are bouncing back to what they were on Liberation Day, just at a glance. So,
well, we'll see. That could very easily be a negotiating tactic too, where it's like, hey, it's going to be this, and then try to put some pressure on for the next 3-4 weeks or so and see what comes out of it. Because that's why they pushed this extra delay from the 9th to August 1st, is to try to have some more time to negotiate. So we'll see.
And on that note, it's like a general. So I was trying to gauge. I'll do a quick chart here if that's cool. Just do one real quick. Does the market care? Right. And to me, I mean, at a glance here, what we got the S&P here. It was probably about midday, and this probably right here, maybe a % drop altogether. And I've been trying to gauge, like, is this priced in? So like, we knew coming into this that these were coming. There was something going to be coming on July 9th, where it was either going to be, hey, let's punt things on the road a little further, keep things the way they are, or seeing some actual rates come through, or some agreement, and called it an agreement, right? And so it's expected. Is it a sell the news type event? It is not. But as of right now, just even with the headlines with Japan out of the gate, I would expect it a bigger sell-off than what just looking at at the screen here for the first time today.
Well, I also just don't think anybody believes any of the scanned letters coming out, because like we've seen from March, President Trump and Scott Bessent, who is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, will say one thing, and then the next day it's the total different thing, or it's a slight variation, and they use the public disclosure of information as a way to put pressure on and manipulate their own private negotiations. So I don't does the market really care what gets slipped out anymore. I don't know if they will, because it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. Now everyone's like, okay, just wait until there's something real. I feel like the market's just waiting for that.
But is it? I feel like I have to take it for what it is. If it came from him, no, I guess I can't. I guess I can't. I don't know. I think we will find out without a doubt within 48 hours. I think as of July 9th, there has to be something from there's some, I'm assuming from government sites, the actual letter, this is policy, however you want to phrase it, right, on how it's going through to actually kick off the processes to support said tariffs have to go into place. So until we see that, to your point, we assume that it just is.
Well, how do you think the market's going to react? Because you have two sides of this argument, right? You have tariffs are going to be a cost that is put on U.S. businesses, which then gets pushed off to consumers. But at the same time, if you have a trade deal like with Vietnam, where it was a 20% or 40% tariff on goods coming into the United States from Vietnam, but a 0% tariff on U.S. goods going to Vietnam, there's some people being like, this is a horrible trade deal because U.S. businesses are being taxed, Vietnamese businesses aren't being taxed. Well, the opposite side of that argument is this is a good trade deal because if you're a manufacturer, you're probably going to sell more products if you have trade relationships where you have 0% tariffs against your goods across all of your largest trading partners, right? So how does the market react? Does the market say, hey, we're going to be selling more goods in more countries and we'd like it? Or is it tariffs, no matter what the outcome of the business side, is going to be a negative reaction? I don't know what that answer is. I've never lived through anything like this before. The last time we did like major crazy tariffs was, I don't know, 70 years ago.
I think that's also why I'm so intrigued by everything happening right now. It's almost like, besides being locked into every chart all the time, just seeing the relationships between the markets move as all of this unfolds, right? Because it's not, there is no historical precedent I could use as a benchmark for figuring out, hey, which way do things go next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, to call a perspective here, I keep forgetting stock market's all-time highs. Like it's like, so if you go back, Liberation Day, was that April 1st? Is that what it was?
That was April 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, was it really on April Fool's Day? No.
No, it was a second. I think it was a second because they were waiting because they made that right decision. Like, hey, we got to do it.
We can't do this on
Can't do it there. Right? So that is right. You're right here. This is a 3-day chart.
Oh, wait, let me get you on the tiki-taki.
Oh yeah, we got to do that. That's right. You can flip my screen too. Yeah. So this is, let's zoom out here. So this down here, this arrow right here for this big sell-off is right when the announcements came out.
Yeah.
It was on, I say Wednesday. Yeah, April 2nd. That's what it was. Sell-off, and then they got a bounce, and that was the bottom. It was like, I think, what was that? Wow, 48 hours later, a couple days later, and ever since it's been up only. So as of right now, we are way above where Liberation Day was, and we're way above all-time highs, which was in February.
Yeah, so the market doesn't really care.
Yeah, I don't know.
But there's so many bearish gaps on the stock market too. Let me show my chart real quick.
Ship it.
And if you can show what I got on the TikTok as well. Let's see, present, share screen.
Look at that. I didn't close down the show. Look at that.
Hey, look at us improving.
Flying here.
Okay. So this is the stock market. And it's messy. Give me 1 second. I'll clean this up just a little bit. So we had a bearish gap right here, but we actually just closed this. So we can close this here. Now we have a 1. We have 2. Oh, Doug, can you get me on TikTok also?
I got you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. There we go. So everywhere we have these red, and let me clean up, and clean up. Cool. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish gaps on the stock market's chart. Now, the stock market doesn't fill gaps to the same degree that Bitcoin does. Bitcoin only has 1 gap that it has never filled, and that's at $92,000. Stock market has a number of gaps. It's more so at like 85%. But if we were to go down and fill that last bearish gap here, That's a 15% fall in the stock market, and that would be a lot. That'd be crazy.
That'd be
Like
some pain. That would bring some pain.
something astronomically important would have to break. And like Doug was mentioning, we have brand new all-time highs from this point right here. Like, this is a very, very strong break. And when I pull up my momentum indicator as well, the momentum is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Maybe it's weakening here. Maybe finally it's weakening, but it is so aggressively bullish. It's so far above the zero on the Moxie indicator that I just don't see that happening unless something truly were to break in the US economy. And still, we're still just seeing strength building on strength. But we have 1, 2, 3 gaps on the chart that could theoretically be in realistic striking range of a very, very large correction. But the market has shown us that it doesn't really care about the tariffs at all. It doesn't care that rates on bonds are continuing to go up to try to attract some level of interest. I'll stop sharing here, Doug. To like attract some level of interest for people to dive into the bonds market. Everyone's like, no, screw the bonds market. I'm going to go into stocks. Why? Circle stock just did a 10x. Why am I going to go and dive into bonds yet? Clearly, we're in a risk-on environment. It's like, clearly? Are we? I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. But when you take a look at just how things have been performing, it looks like risk-on is here.
I can't. I will. This is so.
Which is weird to say.
The determining factor for me on how much more can we go up is going to be probably another couple weeks of employment data. But I think earnings season starts soon. Are we already at that point, like the early stage of it? I want to say late.
I never know when it is. It always surprises me.
Because then I think we're going to see some of the actual early impacts from the tariff increases previously. And I don't know if that's, I feel like that may be enough because your guidance for many companies, I don't know what the number was. I want to go back and find it. It was it was a large number that were basically reducing their guidance. So when I say that, so companies are saying, hey, next quarter, we're not going to say we're going to do as well as we've been doing. We're going to pull it back a little bit just because we don't know a lot of things that are happening right now, a lot of unknown variables. So we're going to just be a little more conservative. And some pulled them all together and some for the whole entire year. Usually it's only 1 quarter ahead. So I think that's going to be interesting to see the dynamic of the differences of what actually happened and what's happening versus what's expected. And if that is, if they're seeing a lot of big gaps, I think that'll be the catalyst, or at least not to do it, not to show what you just did, not to say 15% pullback, but at least something, because of right now, to your point, there's nothing, it looks like risk on. Like I can't see anything that says otherwise. It's.
Do you know what the craziest thing is too? My long short indicator on the weekly time frame is clicking along on today's weekly candle. But like I also see the weekly stochastic RSI in very overbought territory, but that's a bad top indicator. The relative strength index on the weekly time frame is just above neutral.
Like
it's just above neutral. Like we're not even close to overbought.
Like imagine you're a financial advisor right now. Could you tell your clients, hey, you should be buying right now? Like, I feel like you'd be doing them a disservice by doing that. No?
You know what I'd be doing? I'd be like, hey, if you got big balls, you'll buy. You got big balls or small balls, little man or big man. And then I would take their money and I would invest it for them and I'd make money no matter what, even if I lost the money. And that's what I would do if I was working for one of the big hedge funds. Because that's how they get paid. Make sure you work with a fiduciary, by the way, if you have somebody else making your investments for you, because fiduciaries only get paid if you get paid. So make sure you do
one day I'll tell stories. I was in the business for 3-4 years at the peak of the Great Recession. So I saw all of it. Date myself here. All of it happened from inside out. Wasn't great. A lot of characters too. A lot of characters. But story for a different day.
What's gold looking like right now?
Yeah, I was just gonna
speak of the devil.
You read my mind here. Let's do this.
Yeah. We can go from gold and then we can scoot on over to Bitcoin.
That is the one thing I would say is still, is that good here? Is still very it's still bullish, in my opinion. Without a doubt, it's still bullish. I just don't know if it's going to be able to hang around up in this area of where it is right now. We're up here. So I was actually shocked that it did pull back this. I'm like my little squiggle here, a different color, a little blue. Yeah. When it did make this initial move back down, I thought it was going to pull back even further. I was actually surprised it did find this really nice level of support here on 3280.
It started to make that move. We were actually doing our test episode of this, and we were like, "Huh, gold's actually having like a weird bullish breakout right now."
That's right here.
Are we expecting bad tariff news? And actually, we got good tariff news, which was a delay. But
yeah, and I still am going to say that this is still probably my best gauge or proxy of the stock market. So if I see gold still push up here even higher and continue up, because in the end it's like this, sideways up, right? So it's just been going sideways since. So if it does continue this next leg up here, I would basically then say risk off. I would say at that point, then you would expect to see pullbacks in the stock market because they have been somewhat correlated for the most part for the last 4 months. Now, right now being under resistance and having come up here to this, what's 33.50, I could see this, go sideways. I still think gold is bullish. I still think gold will be, 4,000 plus by the end of the year. Unless it just still screams to me that. So we'll see. But if this, I think right now, pull back for a week or so, unless we get this move up here. If we get a move up here, then all of a sudden I would say I would be very cautious on those advisors recommending stocks at this point because
you know what the gold chart looks like to me?
What's that?
I mean, dude, it looks like Bitcoin's chart.
Looks like Bitcoin's chart.
Go.
Okay, I do. I see this.
Look at that. Go back and forth again for the folks on TikTok. Here's Bitcoin. Here's gold. Look, it's big shot upwards. Consolidation, working towards the upside, trying to have a bullish breakout.
We're doing this. We're doing green. We're going to cross here. On sideways. See, charting in TA is very easy. You don't have to overcomplicate it.
Very easy.
You just do that and just.
Doug, I have a course that I can sell for intro to TA. Come on now. It's so complicated, but I make it easy. So money.
I'll do that. I'm just gonna go just draw arrows like this. Here's your class. See kids, up to the right. And what you would expect next is this. It's just another step. And honestly, kidding aside, like you are spot on. And wow. See, then who's the imposter? We can't have gold, Bitcoin, and the stock market all going up. Who's the imposter?
So I just had this interesting idea. So remember in 2017 or 2020, how basically every chart of an altcoin would copy what Bitcoin did, but would just be to a higher degree because they were smaller market caps? What if gold is the Bitcoin and Bitcoin is the altcoin of the 2017 and 2020 cycles, where Bitcoin will do what gold will do almost exactly, but will deliver higher percentage gains because it's it's still a smaller market cap, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because Bitcoin at gold's market cap is like 500,000.
I think it is. I think it's
500,000.
Gold's like 12 trillion off the top of my head. It probably might be got much bigger now, but
like 500 million sorry, 500,000 or 300,000. I can't remember which one.
What's that? Oh, so I mean, basically, Bitcoin right now is like 2 trillion, and let's call gold to 10 off the top of my head. So what's that? 5?
Yeah, so you're looking at 500 to 600,000.
Yeah.
Especially with gold having gone up more since the last time I took a look at that math. So you're probably looking at $600,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Man, won't that be nice?
The next 3, I would you agree the next 3 months are going to be probably very telling? I think we'll know heading into Q3 what the rest of the year is going to look like. Would you agree with that?
Well, what makes you think that?
Just that I feel like just because, one, tariff clarity. I mean, I'll call it clarity, but like I said, this is what it is for now. Actually, think about it. So if they do punt to August, does that mean that now it is they're in place for good? Is that the number? Or is this another period of when to decide?
Or is it when, like John here points out over on Twitter,
look at that.
Is it just kind of sideways until we get a rate cut in September? Or is it, in my personal opinion, smart money knows we're going to get some rate cuts in either September or October, and we're just pricing that in. We're pricing that in now. Because if we're pricing in rate cuts in September, October, we're not going sideways, we're going up.
Yep. And if we don't get rate cuts, then that's a problem at this point. So I think
if we don't get rate cuts, then you could have that 15% fall in the stock market.
There you go.
Probably not 15. It'd probably be like an 8% or 7% fall. And
I don't know. Assume if it keeps pumping the way it is, I could see 15% at that point.
It's so overextended and it didn't get the thing that it wanted.
Yep. But then that, and then earnings. I feel because the earnings are going to, because you can't hide what actions a company took, right? They're going to use the tariffs to justify favorably or unfavorably their results, and are going to be more transparent about what decisions they made. Because previously it was basically during Q1 earnings when the tariffs changed, so many companies couldn't say what they didn't make a decision yet. They're trying to figure it out. Some still haven't made a decision. So I think that won't that clarity will be there, and I think the market then will have something more to digest. Where right now it is based on just we're pricing as we see it right now.
Well, right now, so the companies that I work with, they are all making decisions based on tariffs drastically changing their supply chains. I have a major company who I can't name. They are moving they've manufactured, they're one of the largest CPG manufacturers and retailers in the world. And they have a specialty manufacturing plant in China that they are being forced to essentially totally abandon and move that manufacturing elsewhere. They're not moving that manufacturing to the United States because it's still more expensive to have that in the US than one of the other countries that'll have like a 10% or 20% tariff. So they're waiting for the trade policy to solidify before they move that manufacturing there. But they're still dramatically overhauling their supply chain away from China, which will probably be a 4 to 6 year journey for them, as well as hundreds of millions of dollars, which I'm totally there to help them with. But that's what I'm seeing from my personal clients. For those of you who don't know, I am a supply chain consultant for some of the largest supply chain organizations in the world, along with what I do at the Rise Up Show and social media and all that good stuff. So I know you're gonna see a big increase in capital expenditures for these manufacturing companies and CPG companies as they look to invest in manufacturing outside of China. That is absolutely unequivocally beginning to happen. And you're going to see profit margins take a hit. It's just a matter of, will consumption in the US economy ever go down?
It's almost like, by the way, the way that some of the tariffs read today, it's almost like we're using, or the tariff letters, everyone put them, it's almost for using that as like leverage. Basically, it's like the US buys stuff. You need the US. And to your point, if that stops at any point or contracts, then you have a ripple. It's a snowball effect. Right.
But hey, if stocks, what question? In the S&P 500, is it just the big tech stocks that are lifting up the market? Because in those last 3 years, really, that we've had, two of which, the last 2 years of Biden, where inflation was going up as well, and then we started getting some interest rate cuts because inflation started to tame a tiny bit. Then that time, the stock market was led almost exclusively by your Googles, your Amazons, your Microsofts, your big your Teslas, right? And your CPG companies, your retailers, your manufacturers, those stocks all got beat to hell over that 2 year time period. So in the S&P 500 right now, is it just the tech stocks rallying again, or is it everybody?
That's a great question. I feel like I should know that off the top of my head, but honestly too, I always struggle with the differences of what stocks are in which bucket, and which not. Let's just see here too. The worst performing.
Could always cheat a little bit and go to ChatGPT.
Of course, yes. What's on?
It's what I'm on.
Real estate is the worst. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Well, especially now you have bond. You said rates on bonds were going up when we started, right?
Yeah, actually,
which means mortgage rates are going up.
Yeah, I want to peek at that too. Before we, you know what? Let's just do that real quick.
I also want to pop into the Bitcoin dominance chart too. We can do that after.
All right, I'll just real quick then. So we'll look at the dollar first. Actually, the dollar last week we were looking at that. Right. Damn. Wow.
Damn, the dollar sucks. Is this the daily?
This is a monthly chart. Like this broke down. Like I remember when we were looking at this last week, I remember like tapping into like here, this like 95, 96 area, and it's still, wow.
I still think of me making a video months ago being like, you should probably go into the euro stablecoin instead of USDC stablecoin. Your purchasing power will be higher. And one guy was like, well, yeah, you're you're gonna sell the bottom of the dollar, and I was like, first of all, always sell the dollar. Secondly, you've lost like an additional 10% of your purchasing power in like the past 2 months. So I'm sorry.
What was that? When did you make that call?
It was about 2 months ago.
Well done. Nice.
Yeah.
No one else is probably talking about that.
I mean,
But
shit,
hey.
like if you have the tariff policy change the way it's going to change, there's only one thing that's going to happen. It's the dollar is going to weaken. That, and also Trump was like, we're going to weaken the dollar. And I was like, oh, okay. He like literally campaigned on that. He's like, I will weaken the dollar. And you go, oh, okay. I probably shouldn't hold the dollar.
I mean, you got to give him that, because I will say the recent commentary, at least that's on like, hey, the market, what was the last one? It was like, buy your stocks, and then went up. I mean, saying what happened anyway. So yeah, dollar's still very weak. But the one thing today, and let's jump at this is the 30-year, actually the 10-year. Yeah, 10-year.
These are bonds, by the way, everybody.
These are bonds. This is the bond yield.
Specifically treasuries.
This is treasury. This is the 10-year bond yield. So essentially, as the dollar, the dollar, would you say the dollar is 100% correlated to yields? I would say is a very big, I
would say they're both measurements of trust in the U.S. economy. So yes.
Perfect. So as of right now, this is this is the 10-year. 10-year, I think a good gauge. Don't want the 10-year above 4.5%. You don't want the 30-year above 5%. Been using that as a gauge, and that's also kind of to Will's point, the higher the yield is, you could say the less trust in the U.S. financial system. And you would assume the dollar is also falling at that same time. It may not necessarily be 100% correlated, but those two things we're looking out for as a coupling with the gold metric as well. But this right now, this is a 3-day chart. The last 6 days, or the current candle it's open right now, so it's about 4.5 days. Super strong. So I'm very curious. Definitely going to watch this heading into the weekend. If this is above 4.5 by Friday, not saying it's going to be, and gold magically is still moving up, I would then be cautious. But as of right now, this is the only red flag I've seen so far. At a glance earlier today by doing a quick scan.
So why 4.5%?
Oh, it's just more. It's actually more so as a memory for it's easy round number, but also too based on this year, since when I'm using the inauguration day as a benchmark, because for me that's when crypto was the top. Right. So I just know that at that time, that's where rates were. It's 4.5%. And that, but the 10-year and then the 30-year was 5% at that time. And every time it's gone up to those levels with either towards those as a resistance is when markets were extremely volatile. So I just know that's almost like a gauge for me of a red flag of, hey, just be cautious. And that's my answer to your question.
All right.
Nothing more than that.
It's all vibes.
Yep.
But the vibes.
5 charting. Oh, it's only 5 charting.
5 charting is great.
Oh yeah.
Let me pull up. Let's get into some altcoins now. Let me pull up the Bitcoin dominance chart real quick, because something interesting finally has happened. Getting my screen up. So this is Bitcoin dominance on the daily time frame. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you. And what is exciting is this right here. Finally, we're getting some red dots. If you can see, they're barely visible on TikTok, but you can see them here on YouTube just fine. And that has happened when the Mox indicator has flipped below 0. To give you an example of history, and that's a confirmed short signal. I've been highlighting on TikTok a couple times, and it's started to flash and then got erased. Started to flash, got erased. But
quick note, real quick, for those who don't know what Bitcoin dominance is, which is easy way to say is it is a ratio of the total dollars that are in crypto that are essentially within Bitcoin. Would you agree with that?
When this chart is going down, it means altcoins are beating Bitcoin. When the chart is going up, it means Bitcoin's beating altcoins. And on the daily time frame, when you've gotten this sell signal, altcoins have crushed right here. Altcoins did very well here for a short rally. Altcoins crushed here for about 2 weeks, and you have a couple other scenarios too where it's more muted, right? More muted, just a small rally here. But we're finally getting that flash again on the daily time frame for altcoins to potentially do something really cool at the same time as Bitcoin is sitting on top of support that it is holding. Then the breakout of this pennant wants to, bull flag, I should say, wants to go to over $120,000. At the same time, Bitcoin dominance is showing a moment for altcoins to potentially get hot and do great. That's awesome. And if we pull up the 8-hour time frame on Bitcoin dominance, we had some short signals here. We're seeing bearish momentum increase. We pull up the 4-hour time frame too. We can see we got the short signals all the way back on June 25th. And now we get to see kind of how this holds. The last major area of support for Bitcoin dominance is here at roughly 65% on the nose, where the 200 exponential moving average and the 200 simple moving average on the 4-hour time frame are both lined up perfectly. We saw a bounce here, so we need to see if that's kind of like the end of this air quotes altcoin run. But since the daily time frame just clicked in yesterday's candle, which just closed like 45 minutes ago, we're hopefully in a pretty damn good opportunity where this will continue to weaken. Bitcoin dominance slides. Altcoins perform better than Bitcoin at the same time as Bitcoin starts getting into all-time high territory. And that's the exact kind of scenario that you want if you want to have your altcoins do crazy, crazy, crazy good. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
So with all of that, I'm curious, do you have, and I know you get asked, we get asked all the time. It's like, oh, what are your targets? I hate talking about targets because
who cares? I don't care what my target. I don't care what the target is.
The only reason I ask is more on this scenario where it is like the euphoric time where it is like, hey, I'm going to look at my other positions and possibly shave them off if they have done 5, 10x. Is there a range? Like, would you say, wait, Bitcoin's at 125? That's the time you would be doing that if that happens the next 3 months? Like, is there a number or not? You're just going with flow.
Vibes.
All right.
Yeah,
I think
vibes,
better at this point because things have changed so much. It's almost like all the numbers have been thrown out there, like 120, whatever the numbers are.
The thing is, any pump you get in an altcoin is so fragile right now because money in Bitcoin can't easily flow into the other altcoins, right? It's all in the ETF.
Yep.
Until the day comes where you have Ethereum's spot ETF turn on, Solana's spot ETF become available through BlackRock or Fidelity, then you're not going to have any liquidity flow into anywhere else. And it's not because the Ethereum ETF or the Solana ETF are going to make it easier for money to flow into altcoins. It's just that the money that's currently on chain in Solana and Ethereum will become more valuable. And as that gets swapped into other altcoins, then you'll have some air quote flow of liquidity. Not really, but insofar as it'll help those altcoins and those ecosystems do well, that's what'll happen. But even then, the run upwards for those altcoins isn't going to be as crazy as if the ETFs didn't exist and people were just out spot buying on Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance.
And I think many people are waiting for that, right? They're saying like, hey, I have the ones who've been around for one cycle or 2021, 2022 are waiting for that feeling of like, okay, I know it's here. I still don't believe, there's still going to be an alt season, different flavors. It's going to look a little different characteristics. You will still get the euphoria that's there, but it's just going to be very sporadic and isolated in silos based on what's moving at that time. I think it's going to be quicker just because everything's moving faster all the time. And I can't see a prolonged, I would love to be wrong here, a prolonged, especially where the markets are right now, which is already call it overextended. I would just say if you're there and you start seeing things move, take some profits.
Which I think is a great second for me to just quickly say, if you want some other great advice on profit taking, on dollar cost averaging, you want advice on how to get on Web3, you want to get advice on how to start reading some charts in a basic way, head on over, if I enunciate, to the riseupmorningshow.com. We have a bunch of resources there for you. Some are available for free. Most are there to be sold, right? But if you become a premium member of the Discord, you get a whole bunch of that stuff at a major discount as well. But also our Discord is totally free to join. So hop on in. You can build a network in the crypto space, build a network of traders, venture capitalists, developers, whatever your jam is, we got space for you. So hop on onto the Discord. You can find the link on actually, you can't find the link on my profile page because I'm not on my new profile page, but you can find it at the riseupmorningshow.com. I think this is a good time here, Doug, to got some sunglasses on TikTok, to maybe take some altcoin suggestions from folks, do a little bit of charting. So if you have some altcoins, if you're watching this on YouTube, Twitter, or here on TikTok, let us know some altcoins you want us to chart. And to kind of kick things off, Doug, I know you love looking at FARTCOIN, but are there other coins that you're interested in from like a portfolio standpoint. If you're at add 3 or 5 coins, I see Algorand coming in, Chainlink coming in. Thoughts on Morpho? You know, we can go through those 3 to start too. But I kind of wanted to ask you that question, Doug.
Well, it's funny. I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you mentioned FARTCOIN, I have to bring it up. So
I was trying to direct you away from FARTCOIN.
I can't not look at it. The girlfriend doesn't know yet, but I'm going to print this out and I'm going to frame this. I may not put the, call it FART. It doesn't matter. It's FARTCOIN. I just care about the chart. It's the chart. It's just a beautiful chart. Anyway, the reason I do want to call it out is because FARTCOIN had a pretty nasty spill earlier today. And by the way, I hate the fact that FARTCOIN exists and is a $1 billion market and is part of the reason this past cycle has sucked. But I have to appreciate it for what it is, and it is a good gauge for altcoins. I could argue this has been my Bitcoin dominance for this entire past bull run, because in general, it's given me, it's always seems to me, I mean, it has proven that it's ahead of the next move, usually like 15 minutes to an hour before alts. And so with that said, this was just one of the nastier spills I've seen in a while. And I kind of look at these like, it's almost like a right angle. It's like a right angle. Like it's just like, it's just over and down. So I would very much to be bullish, like for crypto, I'm saying for crypto to be bullish. I can't really make that statement, but I'm saying to turn back up, you want FARTCOIN to get right back above $1.20, and then that should send to like $140, $1.50. However, alternatively, if this starts dropping down below $1, below 99 cents, a good level, easy to remember. You would see this, and we don't want that.
Unless you're shorting, in which case, hey, you can make money either way.
Yeah. Actually, a good short would have been up here if you were catching this at this level. But as of right now, it's going to be interesting to see this retest of this going back up to here. But FARTCOIN, great chart as always, a good proxy for alts. Just to always have, I do have that chart up with all the other charts up here, just to gauge this. I see it dropping down. I'm like, yeah, little red flags popping up. So so what I'm gonna do here? Do you want to look at?
I'm gonna go take a fresh look at Algorand, because Cosmic's here. He's been active, and I want to give the man what he wants, and he wants that Algorand.
Yo, shout out Wolfpack.
You go ahead and pull up Say on your side. Let's take a fresh look.
What do you say?
Take a fresh look. Oh, I see. Say SEI.
Oh,
I see VeChain in here. I saw an ask for Chainlink. I saw an ask for Maple also. We can take a look at all these real quick.
These are the charts that I haven't looked at in a long. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
These are ones that I have charted probably because at one point for the last 6 months I'd only been looking at just like your major markets, so like Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, XRP for the XRP lovers, but not something like Say. Should only do it once in a while. And then looks like here, this was a beautiful entry, would have been around 15 cents, 16 cents. This actually looks really, really nice. I love seeing the strength from lows. I don't know what's going on in their ecosystem. Oh, wow. This actually looks like a really nice chart.
For Say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if
oh, yeah.
If not financial advice, but if you were someone who wanted to get into Say, I'd be looking to bid between 24 cents and 20 cents, 22, 24 and 22. And you don't want to be trading back.
You got way ahead of me. All right, let me share this for the TikTok folks. Let's pull up Say here. All right.
What do you say? What do you say?
What are we looking at here? The daily time frame? Daily time frame.
This is a daily chart, yes. And so I'll zoom back out again.
These are some good squiggles.
So here is your like the 3-day chart. So this, oh wow, this is such a nice chart. Damn, man. So this is a beautiful
higher low, higher relative high.
Oh my goodness. Like here, this is a beautiful entry, would have been here for a long. But yeah, this is I'm gonna delete all this now because Will calling out. Here is your higher low from down here. All right.
Higher lows, higher highs.
Higher lows, higher highs. You get this nice, really nice, clean market structure, where it's just like this. Right, that's it. You can go up, down, up, down, up, down. That's it. So that's why here. What I was just saying is this is a beautiful area right here to look for a bid. If you want to bid, if you want to place some orders for some longs, or look between 20 cents and 24 cents. I like it. And you don't want to be trading back below, let's call it 18, 17 cents. That would be my invalidation point of getting out of the trade. What else we got?
Well, hey, you got the screen up, so let's go to VeChain. I mean, shit, here you are. VeChain up next. Oh my God, you have so many squiggles on this chart.
I have too many. I need to find clean ones. So I squiggle too much. What else we got here? Here we go. All right, VeChain. I remember off the top of my head. Oh, it's the VeChain. Sorry, killing me, Smalls.
That was the market cap. That's the market cap.
Yeah. All right, that's good now. So VeChain has a couple of
VeChain just as a coin has been a coin I haven't been excited about really for 6 years.
VeChain is what got me into crypto. Honestly, it was a YouTube video.
VeChain is an amazing solution.
Yeah,
as a team, they were like, we're going to decentralize the supply chain. And then they did it. And the crypto industry was like, we're done playing with you now. And then, yeah, they did exactly what they said they were going to do. And they didn't change themselves to be like the new hot in trend thing. And now they don't really have a lot of market share. But if you zoom in here, and we're on the weekly time frame, you have a higher low / double bottom right here, but you're not making any highs.
Yeah, I want to see another strong green candle here. It's got to get above. It needs to get back above here. Let's call it 23 cents. Let's throw a Jordan out there.
Yeah, there's there's a possible bottom, but no strength confirmed.
Correct.
Yet.
That is, so as of right now, you could not be bullish. You're just kind of waiting and seeing. It may just go sideways, go like this for a little bit, but you want to get back above 23 cents, or sorry, 2.5 cents, 2.3. Yeah.
All right. How about say? Let's just keep
we did say already.
Fire. Oh, we did say. That's right. What was I looking at? Yeah, Sui.
Oh, another beautiful chart. Let's clean this one up here.
Oh, we also need to do algo Ren.
Algo. We'll do algo.
We'll do algo now. We're blue balling Cosmic here.
Our boy here. Shout out Wolfpack. Let's see here. Wow, it's like crazy strength back earlier this year.
Yeah. But this is what are we at here?
This is a weekly chart.
Yeah. So again, very similar to VeChain. You know, it's a double bottom, but we don't see strength yet.
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw something like this, where it's like a fake out down here and then pop back up and then that. Either way, honestly, it looks okay. I mean, it looks fine.
It doesn't look bad. It looks fine.
It looks fine. You just need some patience and just don't get shooken out here. If it pulls back into the 14 cents, the 13 cents, add a little more. But yeah, this still looks fine. Looks great. Otherwise, what else we got?
Chainlink. That was the second request.
Stinky. By the way,
Stinky.
I was the guy buying Chainlink at the top with when Elon was on SNL.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Yeah,
someone's got to do that job.
For anyone new to charting, and you hear someone talk about a range, one of the best ranges to study is Chainlink between May 2022 and October of 2023. Is 18 months essentially of just sideways. And you learn a lot from it on false breakouts. We're really looking for this breakout, this bigger move up, but it's one of the coins that just make you just
want
to soul. Chainlink hurts
smash your head into a
good project. It's just
But again, we have a higher low, but nothing to be excited about yet. Except that's a long wick.
I like that's. I agree. That's what I like.
That's a long wick.
This is nice here.
Love a good wick.
Yes. See, it's art. You gotta appreciate the art.
Art.
So a couple of my favorite things for me as a charter and someone looking to teach on how to build positions, this to me checks a couple of the key boxes. Both
those wicks too.
Yeah. So yeah, if you see this is a 3-day candle. If we see a strength remaining this week, or even to the weekend, and it breaks this downtrend, so this downtrend here, and it flips this 13, let's call it $14. Like if all three of those conditions are met, this is a very attractive area for a long, without a doubt. And like even here too, I'd be targeting $19, $21. Yeah. But you have to assume that it's going to get rejected. You just have to hammer down. Like there's the multiple, like right here, it's going to get rejected. It's going to go down. Doesn't mean it's going to go down far, but still it may just do this. It might just keep bouncing against that. Right. So just can't.
You need to wait for a confirmed move above that trend line. But if it does, I mean, clearly, the bulls for Link have shown the ability to come in hard and fast.
Yep.
So, I mean, if Link can get above resistance, you could have Chainlink pop off pretty damn hard. And honestly, if I'm just eyeballing this real quick, you'd look at about like a $19 Link off of that move.
You got it.
You're looking at a $19 Link.
Yeah. So, hey.
And
so
if you
I'm
wanted
gonna
to
put
know
word
how
on
I
here.
did that is, again, I just eyeballed that, but I see a bottom trend line here. And that to me is a consolidating triangle. Then you measure it at its thickest point, put it at the breakout thickness, and that thickness leads you to about $19 right there.
Yep. That's it. That is your
Yeah.
price objective. Great. What we got here? We got
Well,
859.
I saw a comment here. It's like none of these alts will do anything unless ETH breaks over, 3,000. I would say I totally understand why you're saying that. But excuse me. But we've seen Algorand, we've seen XRP, we've seen HBAR. We've seen a bunch of like air quotes old dinosaur coins that shouldn't do well pop off at a time where Ethereum was doing pretty shitty. Where Ethereum was the disappointment for a year and a half. It's been a disappointment. If you look at the Bitcoin Ethereum chart, Ethereum has been a real big disappointment for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And we've seen some altcoins pop off and do crazy. Link doesn't need Ethereum to go up to $19. But coins like an Aerodrome or Virtuals Protocol or a Morpho, coins within the Ethereum ecosystem that are, in this case, on a base layer 2, or like a Katana or a Polygon or a Uniswap, right? Coins in the general Ethereum ecosystem will absolutely benefit far greater if Ethereum is popping off. But like a quick move upwards, no, like the market then quickly grabs a hold of Link, is pumping, and then market dives money in, goes up to $19. Yeah.
I want to sorry, finish your thought there.
No, that's it. I finished.
One last thing. I know we're coming to the top of the hour here. I want to respond to a question earlier from same gentleman, user 762. Doug, are you still macro bearish? I'm not. I was probably like 2.5 weeks ago. You can go back to my Twitter, you can see very clearly when I'm like, hey, I think I wrote I'm bullish. Like it was just after being 6 months of being bearish. I'm bullish. I will say though, I'm not, that was 2 weeks ago. I'm not significantly bullish. Like I'm not like, hey, like just go all in. I am cautiously optimistic. I still believe there's some point we need some type of pullback, even a short, some type of just 5% here based on some reception of the tariffs for another, bigger move up. But as of right now, there's nothing to me until we look at earnings seasons, rate cuts, and more economic data that I have reason to be not semi risk on like bullish. But in my mind, yeah, the things don't make no sense. I'll tell you that.
Things don't make no sense.
So
yeah,
market's gonna scam. Anyway,
I got the question from Handball here too. It's like, what's some of the best utility coins you guys like? There are a lot of utility coins that I like, but the one that I have been looking at hard again, and when I look at the chart, I don't see, again, it looks fine, maybe. It's Immutable X. Immutable X is a Web3 gaming solution. They've made a big migration on June 19th, and their renewed staking just went live. Basically, Immutable X has had really bad tokenomics. If you're a trader or investor, it's really bad tokenomics. It's a very high inflation rate. But now that inflation rate is being dropped drastically. It's going to go, the remainder of this year will still be at 10% inflation, but next year is 6%. The year after that is 0 to 2%. And that is something that Immutable X has needed, and it makes it a much more interesting play because it is the silverback gorilla in the Web3 gaming space in terms of like upcoming adoption and game releases. So it's on my radar screen again, and it should be more attractive as developers. So it's on my radar, and I like the Immutable X ecosystem. I also still like Aerodrome. I still like Morpho. I like Virtuals Protocol from an AI agents standpoint, and I have a position in Virtuals. I also love Solana. I love I don't love it, but I like Sui a lot. I like Syrup, Maple Finance. That has been a coin that has shown a shockingly good ability to get adoption of TVL and have the adoption of its TVL also represented in the increase in the token value. Hyperliquid is phenomenal. And there are a number of others that I really like. There are a lot of projects I really like. There are a few that I invest in. So,
see, this is why I come to the Rise of the Morning Show, because I didn't know half of what you just said. I didn't know they existed. I just know the charts. I'm like, yeah, that chart looks good. I don't care what it is.
I don't care what it is. Exactly.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But hey, if you guys have any other final questions, we'll field them. We'll be here for probably, stay on for another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll probably do final thoughts and ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset.
Evan's proud.
Cody V here trying to recognize patterns and use indicators. Also, Cody V made a little bit of money shorting Ethereum today with very high leverage. So congrats, Cody. I really hope you had like a 100x leverage position, like $1,000, and it went 3%, and you close that out.
Be careful with that leverage. Be careful with it. It's
we have had Hi, I'm Maddie ask for Sui. We can do Sui for one more.
Yeah, as many as you want.
You know,
I will rapid fire. By the way, Mutable X, I was peeking at, it was there. It's like, I bet you there's a divergence. Yep. Oh, okay. So I don't usually look at sometimes like this when I kind of get a feel that it's like it's getting exhausted. That's like it's looking for. I always don't assume divergences happen. I assume they don't happen, but I do like this divergence starting to form here. This is a bullish divergence on a weekly chart that's happening here. So I see some strength, the underlying strength RSI. I'm looking through my phone here to see the screen, so it's hard. My awesome oscillator, which is one of my favorite indicators, seeing something like this probably once this crosses here. And yeah, this is interesting. I think once this breaks out,
that, and also when it does break out, I mean, like it's shown that it'll pop.
You're talking $1.20, $1.20, $1.50. Like if it gets a nice move, even low 80 cents to start, then we'll call it,
That, and also I've been feeling pretty charged up with the Mutable X because of the changes that they made, where I was like, I kind of want to go play around in their ecosystem again.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to go, I'll probably do it tomorrow. I'll probably go buy some Immutable X and go stake it and play around with it and stuff and see what happens.
So we got Sui now. Sui is one of the most, also another chart that I would print out in front of the wall, as a sane person says. This wasn't, if we didn't get the pullback earlier this year, this thing would have been already plus $10 plus, like without a doubt. It had a lot of issues based on timing of when it started getting very bullish. But the chart is still fantastic. The worst case scenario is to get this. I don't want to look that way, but as of right now, just you don't want Sui to fall back below 250. Ideally, we find some strength here, and this gets back up here, and just something like this. It's tough. It's a weird spot. It's going to be fine.
It's in an odd spot.
It's going to be fine. Less about the chart, more about the project.
As soon as Sui gets any positive momentum, everyone dives into it.
That's good. Yeah, you get one of these here, right? Just it's going to start seeing this big. Actually, it's probably something like that. To your point, yeah. Once I think it's back above 325, that's it. I would just don't FOMO, but FOMO. No, don't
FOMO. But depends on how fast you can FOMO.
Yes. Have a conversation about that too. How fast you can FOMO, yeah. So yeah, Sui's a great chart. Sui's one of those ones where you just want to have exposure to it. Excuse me, not financial advice. But don't get too worked up with the change in price and the chart.
Yeah, you always in every single cycle get a handful of coins that whenever things go green, they always go green. Sui is in that category for sure, in my opinion.
Render's
bad.
It was this was such a October 2023. I remember. I got injective protocol moving. You got
the long ago days.
It was so good.
2023 was a great year for me.
This looks all right. I mean, it's not bad. It's just right. It's right where you'd want it to bounce, but just kind of just chilling. Not really
kind of lagging, kind of chilling.
Yeah, same. They all like Link, like this tiny double bottom, just waiting for strength. I mean, if we see clear strength this week on all these charts, this is a 3 weekly chart. We see a really nice green candle end this week. Let's say another like a 20% move up. What would that be if I get something like this? Like a 20% move up over the next 5 days. I would say the week after that's probably pretty bullish for altcoins without a tweet changing things up. So
we'll see. Hopefully Bitcoin dominance isn't teasing us again, and that short signal that flashed is confirmed and hold, because I've seen it flash a few times now and get wiped away the very next day. Yeah, so we'll see.
Silver so bullish too, by the way. So you want to call it silver, still very bullish. Also, but overextended.
Whoa, silver shirt looks crazy.
But a little overextended, but yeah. And copper also bullish. These are things that are just kind of semi-red flags to me. I don't know.
Come on, Bitcoin.
Yeah,
so no, but like, yeah, isn't Bitcoin one of these things now? It certainly looks like the chart looks like gold.
Bitcoin and commodities going up. That would be I don't know. It would be good.
Hey, it would make Larry Fink the most correct man in the room, who for the past 2 years has been telling people on traditional media that Bitcoin is a safe haven asset. And this would certainly prove him correct. And Larry Fink has enough money to make sure he is correct.
And then Jamie Dimon will say, I always liked Bitcoin.
Yeah, and then he'll say, I always liked
Come on.
Bitcoin. Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time for us to ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset, which can also be called... Oh, wait, no. Oh, no, my soundboard. Everything's wiped. What has happened
here? Oh, wait.
Nice.
This one's here.
Satan.
Weird.
Okay.
I didn't get access to it, the board. I want sound effects. Can we make this happen?
Wait, no, I'm stuck in this voice. Hang on.
Wait, normal voice? Okay, cool. Anyway, I thought I had a fun song to play where I then pretend I am a funky locomotive conductor. Not going to happen. I don't know why. I just lost like half.
We'll look forward to that next week. I'm looking forward to it already.
Yeah, well, we had it in the test, so we'll bring it back for episode 2. But Doug, do you have any final thoughts? Any words of wisdom? Anything you're looking forward to for the week?
I'm looking for clarity. That's what I'm looking for. I think that's I think clarity and more reasons to want things to continue to go back up. Not want, but feel they should go up. And I'm still just 2 weeks ago, yes, very bullish. Right now, I'm still just now I'm kind of just cautious, but no reason to be bearish. That's all.
Well, Cody here is feeling bullish on SWE potentially. So looks like we may have converted somebody to potentially purchasing SWE. But remember, do your own research before you buy. But I like SWE. I think SWE is a good potential buy. My final thoughts. I don't know. Everyone, like, staring at charts can be exhausting. So make sure you go out there and get a little workout in. Make sure you're eating right. Do all that stuff. Call your mom and dad if you still got them. And yeah, I don't have anything else. But I guess I will say one final thing is it looks like Bitcoin is on the verge of potentially breaking out if it can hold basically $108,000, $107,900, right in that range. If we can hold that, you can see Bitcoin pop off super nice. If it breaks below it, we have support at 105,000. And we'll see what happens, guys, because Bitcoin can go green here. Altcoins are in a pretty interesting... All those altcoin charts are either just starting to show a little bit of strength or are right there, just needing one real good green candle to kind of get them out of that neutral stance they're in to just, pop off. So we'll see what happens. Keep your eyes on rate cuts potentially in September. If that is going to happen, markets should, air quotes, should price those in as we get closer to September. And it could be it's going to be a wild ride no matter what. But, Doug, you have another thought?
I do. I would say right now, just looking, I'll use this is the FARTCOIN indicator. I would not be comfortable going into any new long positions overnight. Also, too, in general, rule of thumb, not a good thing to hold to open new trades before you go to bed. Just from my past experience, do not do that. Let yourself sleep, get the rest. Yes.
Unless, like at the beginning of this live session here, like my advice as the investment sales rep to someone looking to give money to me, well, you'd only do that if you had real big balls. You a big man or a small man? Hold that position overnight. But everybody, we will be back. Me and Doug, aka Von, aka 10 Drift, aka Fresh. We will be back every single Monday here at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time as a part of the Rise Up Market Watch show. If there's any of this recording that you want to see, you can watch that over on YouTube. If you're watching it right now, hi, what's up? Talking to you. And everybody, we will be live. Myself, Alex, and Evan will be live tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as well as a part of the Rise Up Morning Show. Hope you all had a great evening. Enjoy to this day whenever you're watching this, and hope your candles are green. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good night.